Hello everybody, it's me, and welcome back to another video. And now, I actually had recorded about 15 minutes of footage on this tier list, and then turns out I had it paused the entire time, which was very, very upsetting. But, I am here now, and in this video, I'm not going to be doing a showcase tonight, because my voice is kind of dead, and I don't want to really be doing commentary. And I thought this would be a little easier, and honestly, it is a little easier. I get to kind of explain my thought process behind some certain Loomians. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to do. And tomorrow, by the way, if you guys don't know, Harvest Sect is coming out, which is my favorite of the 3 design contest winners. I'm really hoping it's rallyable. If it's not, well, I'm going to have to grind a lot more than I had to before. Alright, anyway, let's get into the tier list. Alright, here we go. Into the tier list. Let me just make sure I am recording. I am. Okay, now, I am mad at myself for not, because I got all the way up to Gardro, and then I realized I wasn't recording because I was checking if it got elemental burst. But I don't think it did. Okay, anyway, here we go. For the first one, we're going to look at light, and I'll be able to zoom this in later once I get further down the list. But right now, it's kind of big, and as you can see, I actually made all these little boxes. Yes, I was really happy with it. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to start off light tier list with Typeless. It is 100% the best light type in the game. And if you guys are wondering how I'm going to do dual types, such as, let me give you an example, such as Dorogo, I'm going to do its primary typing, left to right, it being an ancient type, and then dark as its secondary typing. I'm going to do it left to right. So if I did Typeless, for example, it's going light type tier, because it's light and dark, not dark and then light. Alright, anyway, with that explained, let's get back in the tier list. Okay, now, it's just the best because it has 3 immunities, 2 of which give it speed, plus it has really good range attack and a setup move. It's just really good, plus it can hide behind Scapegoat, and if it ever gets, when it gets Dark Surge, it's going to be 100% the best light type, if not the best Loomian in the game. It being able to have access to both of those, being able to hit both of the, not both of the things that counter it, but it being able to hit like plant types really hard without having to use Raging Howl and taking chip damage is going to be absolutely amazing, and I'm excited. And the second one, I'm 100% going to do Falkery. Falkery is a very close second to Typeless. I say a lot of bad things about Falkery, but I'm mostly memeing, but like, Falkery is definitely the best wall breaker in the entire game. I don't think there's any doubt about it. The ranged wall breaker, that is, not melee. It's definitely the best ranged wall breaker in the entire game. It is ridiculously strong with its longevity with Flash and Flee, and Rejuvenate is amazing. It'd be able to get a lot of chip damage off the Flash and Flee. It also has Magnify and then Radiant Forecast, which you could just use. You could literally just use a pivot set with like Radiant Forecast, Flash and Flee, Rejuvenate, and Metal Blast. That can definitely work. Or it's just like Magnify, Radiant Forecast, Flash and Flee, Metal Blast. That's also something you could use. With Amulet, but yeah, Falkery just has a bunch of different sets it can run, so you never really know what Falkery is running until you start to attack it. Now, the second one I'm going to do is Nimue. Now, at first I put Luxor above Nimue, and then I kind of looked at it a little more, and Nimue is, I'm just going to be sure I'm recording, I'm really nervous I'm not. Nimue is definitely better than Luxor, not because of damage, because Luxor does more damage than, I think it does more damage, probably not after Lanthian, but, because Nimue, it still can't hit plant types very hard, but since it has access to recovery, I put it above Luxor because Luxor is kind of forced to either run Health Amulet or Light Essence, which it's usually going to run Light Essence, which Nimue can use Light Essence and practically anything else. If you wanted to use like Dust like I do to not get like destroyed by some certain things, you're welcome to. But yeah, Nimue is definitely second because of its recovery, third. Luxor's going up there in number 4 as a worst light type in the game because it just dies too quickly. If you use like Luminous Roar versus something like Cephalops, then you're in a really good position. Since it got Fire Breath, people were like, this is going to be really, really broken, and it really wasn't that strong. I barely even see Luxor anymore, and even then you can just swap in a melee wall, ranged wall, sorry, like, like Venolin, which can counter this thing pretty well if you barter Shackles, then it's practically useless. You can literally swap in like anything that's faster than it, or slower than it, and then it has a super effective move. Yeah. Alright, now for mind types, now Mutagon is actually Mind Brawler, if you guys didn't know. Mutagon is definitely going in the number 1 slot as the best mind type in the game. It is actually the best Loomian in the entire game. It is absolutely crazy how much damage it deals. With Brawn Boost, it it was a scary thing back then. It was a skill-based wall breaker back then, and now it's a brainless wall breaker because you can just click Brawn Boost, Telekinetic Sweep, Mega Punch, and Quick Punch is so strong. You could even run Frost Punch over Mega Punch if you want to be able to hit Vesperatu way harder. You could actually double Frost Punch on Vesperatu and force it to spam Revival, lose all its energy. You could really do that too. But yeah, definitely the best Mine type because of it's just insane. With priority, it just became instantly better. Shachi's definitely in the number 2 slot because Shachi's just really good. It just does a lot of damage. It's crazy. Sorry. Shachi's very smart foul chant. It can 2-hit KO anything that's neutral, 1-hit KO anything that's super effective, and maybe even 2-hit KO anything that is not very effective, even if it's ranged. If it's not range based, like what? It could probably 2-hit KO Vest with foul chant, and maybe 2-hit KO Waka Laka. No, not Waka Laka. Not even the Toad. Not sure what it would 2 KO, but Shachi's just really strong. Definitely one of the stronger Mind Wall Breakers. If you want a good ranged Mind Wall Breaker, I would definitely use Shachi. It's practically the only option. And the Ferroglyph I'm going to put in there because it's Ferroglyph. We all know. I don't really know what's up with Ferroglyph, but it's just a lot of things that can kill it. And personally, I'm going to say this now, I don't really know why Ferroglyph is super bad or why people say it's terrible. It has like 105 speed and 120 attack. That's not bad. But I think it just lacks the certain coverage options it needs. I'm really not sure. Don't come at me whenever. I don't really know what's up with Ferroglyph. I don't know that much about it. And I'm gonna put Pyramind up there. Like just use Bane of Haste. If it ever gets recovery, then it would definitely be above Ferroglyph. But yeah, it's a bulky Bane of Haste setter. That's practically the only thing you could run, unless you want to run like Temper, bulky, smart, 4 attacks with Peace of Mind, 3 attacks Peace of Mind if you want to. That can work, but I would not recommend it. Anyway, make sure I'm recording. We're good. And the next one I'm going to put is Luminami. Now, Luminami was the best Loomian back before Route 8 came out. It being able to just pivot out. You could swap into any kind of attack that wasn't super effective. If it was neutral, it could just swap it in, flash and flee, and get a teammate on the field for free. It can still do that to this day. It's really, really good at what it does. And with its insane coverage options, being able to practically hit everything that hits it, like with electric, it can't hit electric yet. It might get earth power someday, who knows, or fissure. Actually, it can hit electrics with water. I'm super dumb. Sorry about that. It can hit electrics with water. And it being able to just flash and flee out of any kind of threat, because they can live any attack from max health, unless it's from a Protogon's Thunderstrike, unless you have a certain investment to live that, like Clever Robust is probably what you could use, if Protogon gets range attack, that is. But yeah, Luminarm's just really good at what it does. It's a really good pivot if you're scared of some Loomians. Alright, I'm going to also go Ventation as number 2, because of its this amazing melee walling capabilities. It can wall any melee wall. It is great. It can swap in on slapdown users, and since most slapdown users are dark type, Dorogo and Vesperatu, it can swap in on those and check them after the slapdown. And with Ursul, it doesn't really check it, but it can burn it with Geyser if you're lucky, and then boom, Ursul's useless. It can burn a lot of kind of attackers. Like it can burn, like I've been having Swolders swap in on my Ventation, and I get to burn them on the swap. It's great. But yeah, Ventation number 2, pretty obvious. And now number 3, I'm gonna put Cephalops. It was really close with Arapigo, but I'm gonna put Cephalops just above it because of Cephalops' just amazing damage output it can do. It's just really strong. It being able to just click Soul Drain and have immediate pressure. Apparently, I saw in some kind of like, I don't know what it was, but a Loomian category, like it had melee walls, ranged walls, wall breakers, trap removal, utility, pivots, had all those things, and Cephalops is in the wall breaker. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I think it's just like, it might be a wall breaker, just a bulky wall breaker, but back then it was definitely the best Loomian in the entire game. Ever since Vanilla got added, it's definitely died down in usage. You could use Barter. You could use like Clever Sluggish Barter. You could use Robust Sluggish Barter with Heavy Shackle. You could use any of that stuff. It also had access to Icicle Traps, so basically you could get a guaranteed Icicle Trap set, which was really, really good. Alright, The next one is Arapago, and I'm putting Arapago at number 4 just because of its coverage options. It is really, really good at having, it practically can hit all of its counters besides toxic types like Venolin. Like Venolin hard walls this thing, but if this thing ever gets Psyshock, it's completely over. It definitely, if it ever got Psyshock, this would definitely be one of the better Loomians. Definitely maybe in high B tier or low, or high A tier or low S tier maybe. But Arapago is just strong because of it having access to Thunderstrike, and like it can hit air types now. It was able to hit air types before, but it's got walled by Shotosaur, and it just has no setup. If it ever got set up, this thing would be a monster. Next, I'm gonna do Blowtox. Now, I'm doing Blowtox here because it's a good melee wall at having sharp edges, and it has access to Poison, Rejuvenate, and Icicle Traps, which is great. You'll be able to poison things and set up Icicle Traps, and heal is great, and has access, and it can use Aqua Jaws to lower the melee defense, so it could take down certain melee walls, not Ventation, and certainly not, I'm trying to think of another melee wall. It'll come to my mind later. Certainly not Oxidrake, because Oxidrake, if it's oxidized, it walls this thing. But yeah, Blowtox number 2 because it has really good moves in its disposal. And number 5, number 6 is definitely gonna go to Garlash. Now, Garlash is at no means a bad Loomian. I just think all these guys are better than. This is my opinion, by the way. This is just my personal opinion. But Garlash is just gonna go to number 6. It's the worst water type. There's so many good water types that Garlash is not even that bad. It's just not the best. It's just the worst water type because there's a lot of better water types. But it gets walled by quite a lot of things. It gets walled by Oxidrake. Actually, no, it doesn't get walled by Oxidrake. If it clicks Vicious Snap, it's walled. It's then walled. It's walled by Oxidrake. It's walled by Ventation. It's walled by... I'm trying to think. What else? Not much else. Pretty much Ventation and Oxidrake, which are pretty common to see in PvP. But yeah, number 6, not bad, just not the best. There's no actually other brawler, the primary brawler types. Like what I mean by that is a brawler and then this. There's actually just something then like Spirit Brawler, Mind Brawler, like those. So Rustolin gets its own tier. So it's the worst, best, and the middle. And now Tyrex, I'm gonna put at number 1. On metal types, it is really strong. It's a really good mixed wall. It having access to Terrifying, you can use Very Clever with Terrifying, and boom, you're really hard to take down from either side of the spectrum. It acts as a good counter to Protogon if you are running Very Clever. It can also counter Venolin pretty well, if it's Very Clever. The only thing holding it back is recovery options, because it doesn't actually have that many recovery options. Only recovery option is Health Amulet, which still is not that bad. You could use Scapegoat, Power Focus, Steel Crusher, and Earthquake, which is a very scary set to come across. If you come across that, Deja Vu with Power Focus quickly. And number 2, I'm going to put Munchwheel. Munchwheel is definitely the most underrated metal type in the game. It does not get enough love. It is very, very strong at what it does. It's a really good setup sweeper. It being able to just click Bulk Up and then +1 in speed. After +2, you outspeed everything in the entire game. You should still be wary about very nimble Zulongs, but those can outspeed you and kill you. But being able to click Bulk Up, if you are in Clever Brawny or Very Clever Sluggish Clumsy, suddenly you're unkillable you're very hard to kill on both sides of the spectrum. Plus with its good coverage options, and since it got Steel Crusher, it's now even scarier. You could run Bulk Up, Steel Crusher, not Mega Chomp, Thunder Chomp, and Blaze Chomp. I'm gonna go Blaze Chomp over Mega, so I can hit Ice. No, not Ice. So I can hit Dark types harder. Some Dark types have fire coverage. Do they? No, ignore me. I don't think any of them do. But yeah, I do think Munchwheel is definitely second best. Third best, I'm going to go Protogon, and I definitely put Protogon at the top, but right now, it's not as good as it used to be. Protogon used to be high OU. It's really good. It's still OU, no doubt, but like, Protogon just isn't as good as it used to be because there's a lot of things that can wall it now, such as Hoganosh, Metatoad, Chartiki, Gastroke, Venolin. There's a lot of things that can wall it. Even Malmurt can wall it. There's a lot of things that wall it. And yeah, it's unfortunately not that good. It's not that good. It's not bad any means. I've been a program player since like February 15th. Is it? Hold on, I gotta check. December 8th. It's actually coming up. But yeah, December 8th. I've been a program player since then. Less than a month, I will have my annual program player party. But yeah, I don't think it's bad. It's good. I don't think I'm getting my point across. It's walled by a lot of things right now that are common to see. So it's not as good as it used to be. Shadasaur, I'm going to put at number 4. It's just a really good wall. I have not seen many Shadasaur players recently, so I haven't been able to get used to fighting Shadasaur much as I used to. But to be honest, Shadasaur is definitely a good metal type. It is definitely above the ones I'm going to show because it's good. It's able to completely counter every bug type in the game. I think. Yes, every bug type it can counter pretty well. Since most bug types have poison and bug coverage, toxic and bug, it completely halts those and allows you to just not be able to play the game at all. You run dust because of Venolin. It's just, I haven't seen very many because of the popularity of Venolin. Venolin is just really, really good with its amazing range wall capabilities. It's just really strong. Very, very strong. And now I'm going to go Hunder. Now I know this might be a little controversial. You might be like, why don't you just swap Munchwheel with Hunder? I don't think Hunder is as good as it used to be. Ever since Ursnack got added, it's been not that good, to be honest. I have not seen very many Hunders. I don't think Hunder is as good as it used to be. Plus, I hate it. So, yeah, I don't want to talk about this thing. But it is the best wall in the game to Shadasaur and the best defensive counter. Fun fact, if your Mega Chomp and Thunder Chomp are neutral, click Mega Chomp because it doesn't have a chance to miss. Because Thunder Chomp, it being 75% stronger, and Mega Chomp only being 50% stronger, they actually, I think, do the same damage output. So I would always click Mega over Thunder if it's neutral, just so I don't risk a miss. Plus, it has really good coverage options, but it's just, it gets walled, basically. And if you run Metal Shriek on Shadasaur, you can kill Venolin. And number 6, I'm going to put Gardrone, and if I recall, does it have Elemental Burst? I think I mentioned this at the start, but I don't think it got it yet. Yeah, it did not get it yet. Yeah, I was just curious. But yeah. It's walled by Revenine, which is a little upsetting, and so is Hunder, but like it can 2-hit KO Revenine. Anything can practically 2-hit KO Revenine. But it's walled by Setamars, except with Frostbeam. It's walled by Venolin. It's countered by Setamars, not walled. Countered by Tyrex, if very clever. And ever since the rise of Venolin, just hasn't been as good as it used to be. It's a really good, it's a very good, what would you categorize this as? I'm not really sure. But yeah, it's good at what it does. It just, I don't see many of them. I don't think it's very good. Now, as the best bug type, I'm going to put Odasho as the best bug type. Now, the reason to this is, you all know Odasho. If you fought an Odasho, you know what I mean. It's extremely annoying. You could run Hypnotize, Barbs, Dodge, Sap Plant, Pestilence, Sap Plant, Provoke, Return to Sender. You can run so many sets and it would work. Odasho is just that one Loomian that, like, since not many Loomians use Drop of Youth, it's just a really good Drop of Youth user. It can counter pretty much any melee. It's any melee wall or melee attacker, or that's not a brawler. Or any ranged wall, depending if you're very clever or very robust. It's actually more bulky, I think, on the melee side than ranged side, but due to matchups, it uses ranged defense, and it is the only bug type that's actually able to effectively counter Stratosaur, because you could just use Sap Plant, Pestilence, and then force it to hit you with an Air Blade and click RTS afterwards. It is just really strong in that aspect. And the next bug type, I'm going to put Spreezy. Yeah, these two are really good. Spreezy, it can practically do the same thing that Odasho does, just less bulky on the range side, but it's a lot faster. You have access, you can use all the same moves that Odasho does, but do a little bit. You can use Pestilence, Sap Plant, Dodge, Pester. There's so many options that you have. both of these are really good barb setters. But Spreezy's different. It's just not as bulky on the range side. Audacio's just one of the bulkiest and most annoying Loomians to kill because of its amazing recovery with Sap Plant. Because of its low health, it always will get that perfect health that it needs. And Spreezy, it's walled by Adrenaline. It's countered by Himber. If you're life trained, you can hit Himber a little harder. Yeah, but with Hard Candy, it's a really, really good melee wall. You can counter Garbanus. Check it. Next one, I'm going to put Buzzolin. Now, Buzzolin is an interesting one because it has a really good speed tier in 101, I think it is. With very nimble, you outspeed quite a lot of things that could kill you before. Like, you can outspeed Metronet, which is really scary. So this effectively can be used as a counter to Metronet. You can outspeed Duskit. You can outspeed Garbantis if it's not very nimble. You can outspeed... No, you can't actually outspeed... You cannot actually outspeed 114 and above. You can actually outspeed Nevermare too and hit that 2 times effectively, which is really, really nice. And yeah, you can also barter your Volcanic Ash onto melee attackers such as Mutagon that try to go for Quick Punch. And if you use certain defensive investment, you can live a Quick Punch for max health and then bartered away make Mutagon useless. And Vesperatu and Munchwheel and Tyrex, you can barter your Ash onto anything, which is really, really useful. Next one, I'm gonna go... Was that an alarm? Anyway, the next one, number 4, I'm going to go Terraclaw. Now, Terraclaw is an interesting one because it definitely has one of the best abilities in the entire game. It doubling its range defense. Because, dude, this thing is so irritating to deal with. You guys know, if you've ever fought Terraclaw, you know how annoying it is to deal with. If you only have, like, range attackers, you gotta get Ursul, Ursnet. You have to get something to counter this thing. It's ridiculous. It is really annoying to deal with, especially in the team that I use right now. But I've learned to deal with it over the time. I learned how to play around Terraclaw very, very well. But it's very annoying, and the fact that it now has Rough Up, it being able to hit metal types, which were kind of good counters towards it. It can hit Stratosaur. It's one of the few bugs that can actually hit Stratosaur pretty hard. It's a good range wall, definitely very clever. SA is really difficult to kill, especially for me, but I learned to play around it. Next one, I'm going to go Garbantis. Now, Garbantis is basically like Spreezy, but faster, but worse. Now, the reason it's worse is because it gets walled by bug types, right? So does Spreezy, but Spreezy just has access to Sapling and actual recovery. Garbantis doesn't have any recovery whatsoever, besides Parasitize, but like, who uses Parasitize on Garbantis? That's your Sharp Claws. Someone comment Sharp Claws Garb in the comments if you've ever used one. I personally used one for a little bit, but I didn't really like it. Although it's a good counter to Borok, but right now we have Spreezy, which counters Borok pretty well. Which honestly might use Spreezy over Ventation. Who knows? But yeah, Garbantis is outclassed by Spreezy. Spreezy's just better defensively and is better due to matchups, and plus it's not 4 times weak to ice, so it doesn't die to ice will traps immediately. Next one, I'm going to do... Oh, I completely forgot about these guys. I actually did not notice them. I'm putting Swolder at number 3. I forgot Swolder was a thing. Sorry. I'm putting Swolder at number 3. Swolder is just really good. Ever since it got Baneful Bash, it's been able to deal a lot more damage to Ventation. It has access to Poison. It's walled by Stratosaur, but has Mega Punch to hit Stratosaur. That's really good coverage options. You could use Parasitize, you could use Baneful Bash, you could use Mega Punch, Mega Chomp, 4 attacks. You could use any of that. You could use Very Clever. It's really good. Pairs really well with Haganosh, being able to counter Vent pretty well. But yeah, Swolder is definitely number 3. I forgot it was a Loomian. Sorry about that. And the next slot is going to go to Cinnamoth. Why are you not a spirit type? Cinnamoth, it magnifying Ferroblast, pretty strong. Having stab bug type move with magnify is not that bad. You use Mystic Breeze too, which I did. Gives you that +1 in speed, which allows you to outspeed the entire game. Only problem with it is that both of its abilities kind of suck. If it got better abilities, like if it got its SA turned to Glide, this would be one of the best sweepers in the game. Magnify, Airblade, sound familiar? Whippledrift. But guess what? Whippledrift sucks because it doesn't have anything to hit. Like what can Cinnamoth hit that Spreezy can't, or not Spreezy, Whippledrift, whatever. We'll find out at some other time. But yeah, Cinemoth, pretty good. Not the best bug type, but it is pretty good. Next one, I'm going to go Terrafly. Ambush, 4 attacks, fun. It is definitely fun. Also, it can set up barbs. It can provoke you. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Having stab on your parasitize and having bug fever. If you wanted to use bug fever, you could. Once you get that +1, Terrafly all of a sudden becomes kind of a scary threat. Then we're going to go Deladrix, and the reason Deladrix is so low is because it can die to priority, which in Quick Punch from Mutagon is really scary. Deladrix definitely died down in usage when Mutagon got Quick Punch. I think it always had Quick Punch before this happened, but then Vanillin kind of just stopped in its tracks and said, no, you can't play the game. Okay, just so you know, that was me. I'm not... virus protection thing, I don't even care. But... yeah, Deladrix is really, really frail. It's just a glass cannon, but it's not quick enough to be a glass cannon, which kind of sucks. You're kind of forced to run very nimble, or very smart if you're running with Baffle or Snack, which could be pretty fun. Now, for the number 1 Spirit type, it's a hard one. I'm gonna go... I'm debating between... I'm gonna go Ursnack as the best one. Ursnack is just... It's a really good wall breaker. It's really strong. Its slap downs do 999 damage to every Loomian. I'm kidding. Yeah, Ursnack is a really, really strong tank. Having access to Baffle and literal tank is really good. The only thing it lacks is recovery. But it is really good with its longevity. It can swap into any melee attack and then baffle out immediately. Or if you catch thing on a swap, you can baffle immediately. It's great. Once Eclipse gets nerfed and it can't absorb support type moves anymore, it's going to be crazy good with Baffle Ursnack. Because with Baffle, you can swap in Deladrix. Deladrix would definitely probably rise in usage with Ursnack. Very smart Deladrix could do really, really good paired with Ursnack. Because Baffle is being changed to -1 speed, so you can't use Colossus Snack anymore. But yeah, it has a really good pairing with Colossus Drops, as I just said. It being able to baffle, get to -2, getting to safely pivot out to a teammate that can hit really, really hard is really, really good. Next one, I'm going to do Revenine. And now, Revenine is one of the best Vengeance killers in the entire game. And with its with it recently getting Dark Surge, I think it was in the Route A update, so that was about a year ago. It got Dark Surge, it being able to hit light types, which is absolutely insane. It still can't hit to clips if it's not, if it doesn't predict Fire Breath and Swap, but you having access to Dark Surge enables you to hit light types, which hard countered you pretty well. Plus, with its access to Vengeance, it does a lot of damage. It's pretty strong. Next one, I'm going to put Ursul. Now, Ursul kind of does the same thing that Revenine does. It just does a lot of damage. It just does a lot of damage immediately. Plus, it actually has Setup and Sharpen. You could do Sharpen, and then suddenly you're an insane wall breaker. Your Ursul does so much damage. With its Slap Down, Phantom Slash, and Shadow Sprint, Quick Punch, like, it's strong. It can slap opposing teams in half. It's crazy. It's one of the few spear types in the game that doesn't completely die to clips once they swap in. But, yeah, it's pretty strong. Next one, I'm going to actually do... If you guys did not know, Valentine's Fan Cub is really, really freaking good. No one really talks about it. But it actually, if you guys did not know, its secret ability is actually called Clingy. Now, personally, I want to get myself a Robust Sluggish SA Valentine's Fan Cub. Because if you guys did not know, Clingy, you cannot lose your item. So if you get slapped down, your item is staying there, which is really, really good. So basically, you cannot lose your item. You're a perfect slapdown swap-in. You can just click Baffles. It's like Ursnack, but worse. But the fact that you can have 2 Ursnacks in one team without getting banned is a pretty cool idea. Now, the next one, I'm going to do... I think I'm going to do Isagul. Isagul is pretty decent. That's what I'm going to say. It's pretty decent. It has really good coverage in all its elemental chomps. Definitely one of the best Bane of Face setters. One of the better Bane of Face setters, if not the best Bane of Face setter. With its recently getting Rejuvenate, it has a lot of health. It can just, you can click, oh my god, I can't talk. You can click Bane of Haste, Rejuvenate, you can click Phantom Slash, Chili. You have a lot of options with Isagul sets. You can use a lot of defensive ones that acts as a really good counter to air types. It's really good. Isagul is pretty good. Next one, I'm gonna do Dusket. Dusket is interesting because if it got another coverage move that can hit either bug or dark types, like if it got Frostbeam, for example, it'd be insane. If it got Ferroblast, this thing would be insane. Already Dusket is decent, but it just lacks being able to hit dark types, which is the one thing that really sucks. If this thing ever gets coverage to hit dark types, it would definitely shoot up to probably number 3. But right now, it's going to sit cleanly at number 5. There's not much to say about it that I haven't already said. Number 6, sorry, I can't count. But yeah. Next, I'm going to do Wendolyn. Wendolyn. Is he one of the only spirit types in the game that can hit to clips super duper hard, besides Revenine's Fire Breath and your Soul's Quick Punch, sorry, or Hop Kick, depending which one you're running. It is way too frail. It dies to any Shadow Sprint. It kind of sucks. It can't swap into Mutagon, which isn't very good. If Mutagon predicts with Telekinetic Sweep, you're getting O-Code. It doesn't act very well as a counter to Brawler because most Brawler types have a Spirit type attacking move, which not the best. Wendolyn's not very good. Now, on to Fire. Alright, now starting... Sorry if it looked like it swapped there. I had to go get up and walk around for a little bit because, yeah, my throat is kind of hurting. Alright, let me make sure I'm recording. I am. Now, okay, the best fire type. I'm going to go Hoganosh as number 1. Hoganosh is just, it's pretty strong. It has access to recovery. It has really good defenses on both sides. You can use like Very Clever and click Fiery Fondant. Suddenly you are really hard to break wall. With Madcap, it has serious damage output. It is really, really scary. You don't really want to fight. And it is really good at countering a lot of range attackers due to matchups. Like Protagon, it can counter pretty well. To Clips, it can counter pretty well. Falker can counter pretty well. Falker's not magnified. Revenite can swap into pretty well, and then just click Rejuvenate because it's Revenine's never in a 2-hit KO, even with Vengeance. Yeah, I think Hoganosh is pretty good. I like how most of the Sweet Retreat Loomians are high up in the tier lists. They're pretty good, besides Nimue, but there's a lot of good light types. Next one, I'm going to go Krakola. Now, Fire is pretty... We have a lot of defensive Fire types. We don't really have a quick Fire type sweeper besides Volkloa, but Volkloa barely even uses Blaze Chomp or Fire Slam anyway. Krakola recently getting Raging Flame is really good because now it can burn Setamars on the Switch. It can burn Wrestle In. It can burn Ventation. Burning Ventation means its Battering Ram is useless. Plus it has Rejuvenate, so that's really, really nice. Does Cradle or Rejuvenate? Yeah. I thought maybe you could pass it off to... No, what am I saying? It has a lot of longevity, plus it has speed control. You can use Burn Up, Rejuvenate, Raging Flame, Mud Spatter, and you are pretty strong Loomian from there. You could use Very Smart Volcanic, which I have in the past. It almost O-code Zulong at +1. It was insane. But yeah, definitely a fun Loomian mini. You could use different sets. You could use Brawn Boost, Fire Slam, Earthquake. There's so many different things you could do with this thing. Now for this next one, I'm gonna put Volkloa at number 3. Volkloa is an interesting one because it has a good speed tier. It being able to speed tie with 116 base speed, non-totemized Loomians, or outspeeding or speed tying with Hunder, and being able to kill it with Earthquake. Also, it has Brawn Boost now, so it can actually be offensively scary to Ventation, which Ventation, since Coconut Bomb got changed to melee because Jamie likes Volkloa, it's been able to do some pretty scary damage and be a very scary sweeper. Pretty much only Zulong, Gobademic and Protagon are the only things that can stop it during a rampage, which are pretty scary because you don't really want to have Volclo on a rampage unless you want to use like a Driving Force user, such as Rasolin or Wobblisk. You can use those too. But yeah, once Volclo gets up a Braum boost, it's pretty scary and hard to stop. Next one, I'm going to put Seer Knight as number 4. Seer Knight is an interesting one because it is pretty bulky. It's kind of the same deal as Tyrex, just not a really good typing. It being weak to electric, water, earth, and I think that's it. Those are kind of common offensive typings that you sometimes see. I think there's something else that's weak to. I can't really think of it right now though. Brawler. Yeah, you don't want to be weak to Brawler. So is Tyrex, but still, Tyrex is just better in metal types. There's just a lot of good fire types. Seer Knight, it's pretty good at killing bug types ever since it got Mega Punch. It also has access to Slapdown, which is really, really good, because then you can hit light types. You can get rid of their items. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. If it had recovery, it'd be a little bit better. But being quad weak to Earthquake is not good, especially with a bunch of Mud Spatters and Earthquakes running around. All right, and the next one, I'm really debating between these two, but I think I'm going to go with Kazune. I'm going Kazune purely because it has a higher ranged attack stat than Eruptodon, plus it has better coverage options than Eruptodon, because Eruptodon is walled by a Flying Pixie that holds a harp. Figured out. And it's decently quick with 74 base speed. At +1 speed, if you're SA, you can outspeed everything besides Very Nimble Gobademic. And being able to click Magnify. Since it got Raging Flame, you can use a pivot set with Raging Flame, Energize, Thunder Strike, and Flash and Flee. You could really do that. I used it. It was able to burn, I think, a set of Mars. Or no, it was Malamurk, and it was able to actually 1v1 Malamurk after that, which was insane. Yeah, Kazune is pretty good. And you can also use Raging Flame on Seer Knight. Yeah, I think all these guys got Raging Flame. Alright, and then the last one's going to be Eruptodon. Eruptodon is not bad at all. It's just walled by a Flying Pixie with a harp. And it's also walled by something else, but I don't remember exactly what it is at the moment. But yeah, you don't really want to be walled by that kind of stuff. Plus, it's not very good. I mean, you can use Accelerate with Magnify, but even then, if you bring something in that has Combustible, you're kind of screwed, because most fire types have earth type coverage, such as Volcloa, Krakola. It can get countered okay, I guess, by Hognosh if it's very clever. Never gonna get 2-hit KO'd. Probably gonna get 3-hit KO'd at +2 by Fire Breath. Definitely 3-hit KO'd, but +6, I'm not sure if that 3-hit KO is very clever Hognosh. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I don't think Eruptodon's very good. It's good, but it's not the best. Alright, next is air typing, and there's not really much to say about these guys. Personally, I'm going to go Zeppelin over Avatros because Zeppelin offers instant offensive pressure rather than Avatros, which is more of a setup sweeper, and Zeppelin being a decent air type wall, being able to kill practically all of these guys listed up here is really good, and can kill you, which is really good. Can kill Mudagom, which is really good. And we resist it. If this thing had Perch, this thing would be very strong. But it doesn't, which is kind of sad. Avatros, Braum Boost, Perch, Thunder Crash, Nosedive. It's the only set you can use on it. It's walled by Isagul, Tyrex. This Zeppelin is not walled by Tyrex because of its access to Mud Spatter. Alright, now we're on to Ancient, which is actually a pretty long list, as you can see. There's a lot of Ancient types. For the best Ancient type, I am gonna go off of my opinion here. I think Oxdrake is the best Ancient type, mostly because it has Outburst, which is insane damage. Plus, you can use Rejuvenate, you can use Bulk Up, you can use Bane of Haste, you can use a lot of different sets. Plus, it can use Steel Crusher, which is pretty good at hitting light types, and it only has 3 weaknesses in Light, Earth, and Brawler, which is really good. And if you want to pair this thing with Whipple Drift, then you have a very scary combo in your hand. Both of them having recovery, and one of them being able to get rid of traps, the other one can't. Yeah, you can run dust on this thing so you can avoid getting stalled. It's very scary for stall because only if your ventation dies, you don't have any other melee wall, this thing's going to sweep you, so you got to be careful. Oxdrake is a really good Loomian. And for the second best, I'm going to go Kirillin. I'm going off my opinion on ancient types because I've used a lot of ancient types. Kirillin just does so much damage. I've been using it for a little bit ever since my stream a few days ago. It was able to come back after a really scary... It was able to come back after I was getting 3-0'd. It was able to kill the last two Loomians. My Rough Up missed on his Terra Claw, and I got a crit with Adaptive Assault to win. It just does a crap ton of damage, which is really good. Combined with Hasty. Hasty... It has Devious, Territorial, and Hasty. Hasty being the wall breaker option. Territorial also being a wall breaker option, unless the other Loomian is a male or female. And Devious, I'm not sure why it has Devious. I'm going to be completely honest. Maybe so Fire Slam can hit Krakola. I'm not really sure. I'd love to know. Anyway, yeah, I think it's pretty good. It does a lot of damage. Eventation, after a +1 with Kirillin, it can die. If Kirillin gets a +1 after Eventation swaps in with Icicle Trap Chip, I think it dies after another Adaptive Assault hit if it's Ancient Essence. And for the next one, I'm going to go Infernix. Infernix has really good longevity with Power Napper, plus with Phoenix Flame. It's able to heal up to max, which is crazy. Also has access to a setup move, plus it has Pyro, so it can be used as a burn spreader with Scorching Skin. It can be used as a stall-oriented Loomian with Power Napper. It can be used as a wall breaker, Peace of Mind with Pyro, which is very, very strong. For the next one, I'm gonna go Claustrops. Claustrops is another ancient type wall breaker, definitely the strongest plant type wall breaker in the game at the moment. It being able to just click Timber Thrash after a burn, having a really good combo with Earth Snack up there. But it being able to it can also click Bulk Up, so under Bane of Haste, it's insane. You click Bulk Up, suddenly you're able to 2-hit KO practically anything. Unfortunately, it does get chipped from Timber Thrash and is hit by Burn from Volcanic Ash, which is not very good. Plus, it is weak to Dark, Metal, and Bug, which are some typings you don't want to be weak to. For the next one, I'm going to go Cosmeor Unleashed. Now, actually, I'm going to go Dorogo. Sorry, I'm changing my mind. But, okay, with Dorogo, it has the most moves in the entire game. I think 37 different moves, or 27. Don't quote me on that. But it having Slapdown, Primal Slash, Baffle, Barbs, Mega Punch, Scavenge, Venom Chomp. It has so many different moves it can utilize. It can hit bug types with Mega Punch and Scavenge. It can hit light types with Slapdown. It's strong. It's strong. It also has a good stab in Primal Slash. Only thing holding it back is its attack stat, which is very, very bad. But it can change that with Bulk Up. But unfortunately, the 3 things in the game that are faster than it can threaten it. I'm going to let you guys figure out who they are. And, okay, for the next one, I'm going to do Cosmeor Unleashed. Cosmeor Unleashed, you can use any set on it. You could use Specs. You could use a Specs Cosmeor Unleashed. You could use a Rev Up Sweeper. You could use a Sharp Focus Sweeper. You can use anything on Cosmeor Unleashed, and it will probably work. Rev Up is probably the most common one that I see, but it is walled by a Sloth. Or not walled. Countered by Sloth. But, yeah, pretty scary. You are walled by pretty much any metal type that exists. Specifically, Falkreath walls this thing hard. But yeah, it's a good Loomian for sure, but just is walled by a lot of things. Next one, I'm gonna go Joltooth. I think Joltooth is pretty good with ambush. SA I've actually never used an ambush one. I've only used SA, and SA does a lot of damage. There's a lot of damage. It is walled by Earth types though. Specifically, Tyrex walls it pretty well. Garbanus walls it pretty well if it's not doesn't swap in on an ambush boosted Primal Slash. It did get a buff with the, I think, the UMV. No, I don't remember how it got buffed. It might have been the UMV update with Colossal Trops, but it got a stat buff. Now it's bulkier than before. It being able to live Protagon's +1 energy surge at a certain investment, which is very annoying and irritating, but it's fine. It's pretty good overall. Pretty good overall. Walled by Tyrex though, which is one that kind of sucks. Next one, I'm gonna go Obsidian. Obsidian, we all know what it does. It is, it's pretty good. You could use like a very brawny one with like Sharpen, Raging Tackle, Promise Slash, Mega Chomp, Earthquake, if you really wanted to. You could use the stall one like Beast Slumber. If this thing ever gets it like poison, God, it's gonna be irritating. But yeah, it's a really hard to break melee wall. It is countered by Nimue if Obsidian's not Mega Chomp, which most Obsidians are Mega Chomp. If they set up Beast Slumber, you can swap it on a setup sweeper, and then boom, you can start setting up on that thing. It's okay. It's definitely not as good as it used to be. Next one, I'm gonna go Cosmeor Encased. Now with Enchanted Coat, you basically take neutral damage to every single hit that you take, which is pretty nice. So after Peace of Mind, because there's nothing in the game that actually hits you for 2 times effective, so you are walled by metal types. It has the same problem that Cosmeor does, but at least it can tank hits a bit better, but it just doesn't offer that much offensive presence. Plus, it doesn't really have anything to wear Loomians down. It does have Slumber, which is decent, but it is kind of just a setup fodder against things like Deladrix, trying to think, to Eclipse Dark Surge. It gets swapped in on once it hits Slumber, Paragon comes in and just destroys it. But yeah, it's okay. Definitely not the best. Next one, I'm gonna go Skellig. This is I'm gonna have to mention this at the start of the video. Whatever, I'm gonna mention it later. But Skellig, it's not the best. There's still so many of these Loomians to go. Definitely not the best, but it's not bad either. Once this thing gets Dragon Dance, it's definitely going to shoot up, probably past Dorogo. But it has good coverage options, but is kind of walled by Luminami if you're not running Mega Chomp. Walled by Inventation, which kind of sucks. This thing can use Bulk Up, Piercing Drive / Aqua Jaws, Mega Chomp, Chili Chomp if you wanted to, or you could use Dragon Dance in the future if you want to do that. You could barter with Pillow. It's gonna be pretty strong, but right now it's just not very good. Copperage, since this is the singles aspect, there's not really a point to using this thing. If you wanted to, you could use it as a mixed wall with Drop of Youth with Rejuvenate. It is one of the few things that has Rejuvenate. With Oxidize, you'd use very clever, swap it on Ventation, get some decent health, but you can't really hit Ventation after that, and it's kind of over. If it's Protective Shell with Brace, suddenly you're in the worst position in the world. But yeah, not the best. You could use Driving Force on it though, and swap out some threats, and then click Promise Slash. But other than that, not much else you can do. All right, on to Dark types. Yet again, sorry if that changed, but on to Dark types now. There are only 4 Dark types, so let's get through them. Now, for one, Vesperati is definitely the best Dark type. One of the better Dark types, one of the better Loomians in the game. Its Stab Slapdown is really strong. It's having one of the only 3 Stab Slapdowns currently in the game, I think. Don't quote me on that. But it can be a wall breaker, it can be a stall. You could use a Blood Drain Revival, be a bulky wall. You could use very brawny Slapdown, deal a lot of damage. There's a lot of different things you could use with this thing. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. Definitely not the absolute. No, what am I saying? It's definitely the best Dark type. Sorry, I get confused. I was looking at Cosmeor Encased. And yeah, by the way, I'm not going to put Cosmeor Unleashed up there. I mean, I could. Probably should have done that. I'll put Cosmeor Unleashed like here, right behind Cosmeor, because it's like the same thing but ranged but slower. So I'll actually put it there. It's ranged but slower version of you. And the next Dark type is Metronet. Metronet, you can just use Peace of Mind Peace Mind Hypnotize, Peace Mind 3 attack, it's really up to you. Has decent coverage options, is killed by most bug types and some fire types, such as Haganosh and sometimes Krakola, but Haganosh being one of the only melee fire types that uses the fire type move. Vocaloid doesn't often use Fire Slam or Blaze Chomp. If it ever gets Flare Blitz, that'll be pretty scary, because suddenly then you have a check to Metronet if you're very nimble. Next one, I'm gonna go Ragoon. Ragoon is underrated. If you're using Burglar, you can slap down, get rid of some items, and if you're about to die, you can use Quick Pounce, steal their item, and throw it away. You basically get to steal items, or you can steal abilities. If you wanted to use Ability Thief, you can. Personally, I think Burglar is definitely better, because you're able to steal items and throw them away. Like, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Wait a second. Where's Earth? I just realized Earth is not here. And boom, Earth is there. Plus, we're a little closer up, which is pretty nice. Alright, Umbrat, I'm going to put as last. We all know Umbrat's walled by Dark types, walled by Spirit types, walled by Vesperatu, but Vesperatu is also somewhat countered by Umbrat, but Umbrat can't hit it. This thing should eventually get Blaze Chomp and Chili Chomp. It would definitely be a really good buff to it. It being able to hit bugs and fires, not fire and dark, which are the two things that can counter it. Alright, for Typeless, it's pretty much Mewtwo over Trumbull. Personally, I'm going to do Trumbull over Mewtwo. The reasoning to that is Trumbull now has Earthquake. It can hit metal types, unlike Mewtwo, which doesn't have any coverage. Plus, Trumbull is just a bit better at having a higher speed stat than Mewtwo, because this game is sexist. And you being able to just click Battle Horn, Stretch, Raging Tackle / Body Slam, Earthquake / Mega Chomp, it's really up to you. Or you could just use Battle Horn, Earthquake, Raging Tackle / Body Slam, or Mega Chomp, it's up to you. Mewtwo, you can use Peace of Mind, Stretch, Resonate, and Raging Howl, or various on Raging Howl, which does a lot of damage. You'd be surprised. It does a lot of damage. It does like it 3-8 KOs Protagon is insane. Wait a second. There's another one? Did not know that. Sarvolin, can I? Okay. Sarvolin is definitely above those two. Did not realize Sarvolin existed. But yeah, Sarvolin, being able to, Sarvolin having Boast is pretty strong. It also, what else does it get? I forgot what its other ability was. But I know it does get Vengeance, so you can use Very Brawny Vengeance, and it actually does more damage than Revenine, but since Typeless is not as good as Fire is, it's better to just use Boast. Use Boast with, Very Brawny with Stretch, all of a sudden you can outspeed practically everything, or you could use Brawny Nimble if you wanted to. Brawny Nimble, Bulk Up, Stretch, that's pretty much it. Like, it's pretty good in what it does. It's like, it's a faster, harder hitting version of Borok, but only with Typeless and Dark, which is walled by Vesperatu and walled by Ignorant Wobblisk. Alright, and next we're on to Ice types. Now, this is going to come heavily to my opinion. Alright, this can come heavily to my opinion. But, personally, I'm gonna put Himber number 1. Honestly, I really want to put Wobblisk in number 1, but I'm not going to, because I know Himber's better. Himber, being, like, as strong as it is, ever since it got buffed and got Ice Hammer, it's been very, very strong. You just use Icicle Traps, Earthquake, Ice Hammer, Quick Punch is really strong. Earthquake, Yeti's Wrath, Ice Hammer, Quick Punch is strong too. Any set that you want to use in this thing, it will probably work if you're very brawny with Awakening. It's a scary, scary wall breaker. It 3-hit KOs Ventation if you're not burned. Next, I'm going to put Wobblisk up there. Wobblisk is one of the most underrated Loomians I have ever used. It is really, really fun. I'm hoping someday it gets Rejuvenate. Maybe with this update, that'd be amazing. It'd be a gift from Jamie. I'm about to DM him. But it having really good coverage options, if you wanted to, you could really just use like Icicle Trap, Rejuvenate, Driving Force, and Luster Loot So basically, if any spirit types swap in on it that's not Nevermare, then suddenly you can swap anything out and hit it all super effectively. But I would, if it ever does get buffed to get Rejuvenate, Ice Trap, Rejuvenate, Driving Force, Frost Beam, best set of Wobblisk. Probably better than Hasty. Ignorant, in my opinion. Defensive Wobblisk is definitely better than offensive Wobblisk. Next, I'm going to do Festifer. Now, Festifer I'm putting up here because it acts as a terrific counter to Florant, Odasho, Whippledrift. It checks those three. Counters if Florant is not Ferablast or Para. Counters counters Mewtwo. What else did I use it on? It can counter Spreezy pretty well. It hard checks Nimue and hard counters Eclipse pre-Dark Surge. But yeah, I think Vesper is pretty good. Okay. It's the only issue with it is that it dies to Metal, Bug, Dark, and Fire, and Toxic, which are 5 weaknesses, which are not very good. Which is, you don't want that. It's pretty good. If it was faster, it'd definitely go above Wobblisk. And I'm gonna go Mocho's last one. Now Mocho, ever since it got Boom Bash, it's been pretty good, but it is still walled by Ursnack and countered by Ursul. And you can, if you literally get swapped out by Driving Force, like if you get swapped out from a Driving Force user, such as Wobblisk or Resolin, suddenly you're useless. You're completely useless. But other than that, Mocho is decent. I'd say it's decent. All right, now we're on to the toxic type, toxic typers. Now, for one, I think this list is extremely self-explanatory. I don't really need to explain any of this. Venolan, Ranged Wall, really good speed control. It's good. Gobademic, Revenge Killer, pretty good. Diborg, Earth type, die. Electric, die. Like, I don't really need to explain this tier. If you know PvP, you know exactly why I would rank these like this. Now, for the best plant type, I'm going to go Nevermare as number 1. Nevermare is, in my opinion, one of the best Loomians right now. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's fun to use. I used it for a few days when it got released for the first time. I used the Gleaming one. It was fun. But yeah, it's pretty good. It has good coverage options. You can practically hit all of its things that hit it. Its type complements it really well. If you ever get a defensive plant spirit type, that'd be very scary, because you only be able to die to Spirit and Bug, and Ice. Yeah, pretty decent. Next one, I'm gonna put Tatab at number 2. Tatab is interesting. Now, most plant types are not very good, period. So that's kind of why Tatab's here. Tatab is okay. Very Brawny Jungle Jutsu does a lot of damage. When it got Distal Slash, it is not actually that big of a buff, but it is still pretty good. It just needs something to hit toxic types, and suddenly, like if it got Earth Power or if it got Earthquake, suddenly this thing just got buffed. And if it gets Light Dash, suddenly this thing is the best Loomian in the game. Because Tatab was one of the strongest wall breakers back in the day, but it was heavily nerfed because Jungle Jutsu lost its flinch chance, and yeah, this thing got buck up and such. Like, it has power focus now, so you can like a mixed one, but yeah, not especially into Tata, but I think it's pretty fun. Next one, I'm gonna go Chartiki. I hate Chartiki. I hate it with a burning passion. That's why I blow Tata, because I hate it. I could get behind it. You guys would hate me if I put this thing at like the lowest plant type. It's good. Bard of Volcanic Ash, a burn up wall breaker. It's powerful. This thing's pretty strong. But I hate it. I'm not talking about it anymore. Alright, next one. I'm gonna do, all these suck. Whippledrift. Glide, Magnify, that's it. That's all you can use in this thing. Nothing else. Glide, Magnify, Air Blade, Life Drain, Photosynthesis, that's it. Like, its typing really prevents it from swapping in too many times, because Icicle Traps is really, really good right now. Yeah, that's it. It's a Loomian. I'm getting more insane the further I get. I'm almost done with this list. I'm so close. So close. Okay. Now, the next one, we're going to go Mawamerk. If I got Cheese Dive in here, he would go for hours on end about why this is the best Loomian in the entire game. Okay. Sorry. Mawamerk. Aqua Jaws, Mega Chomp, Bushwhack, you can use that. Bulk Up, Photosynthesis. There's a lot of moves it has. It can be used as a melee attacker. It can be used as a ranged attacker. Martial Wave, Aqua Jaws, it's up to you. You can use both of them and be a mixed wall break, a mixed attacker. Not a wall breaker. I keep saying wall breaker, sorry. You can use Boom Bash to hit bug types. It actually doesn't have Boom Bash if you didn't know. It's okay. It's okay. Definitely not the best, but it's okay. Next, I'm gonna go Florant. Since Florant got Photosynthesis, it's definitely gonna be up there. It used to be it used to be insane back in the day. It used to be the most annoying thing to take down, and now it might resurface ever since it got Photosynthesis. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, it's decent. I used a very smart one back. I used a very smart one for a showcase one day. It was hilariously fun. Anyway, next one, we're gonna go. Okay, I'll go Wiki. Not Wiki. Waka Laka. I'm gonna go Waka Laka. Now, Waka Laka is an interesting one because Bane of Haste, Gamma Pulse, Psycho Blast, Muck Blast, you can use that. Hits practically all your typings effectively besides, what? Actually, that's really good. Bane of Haste with all those moves. Use Health Amulet or Energy Orb if you wanted to. It's good, but only issue is if Waka Laka had 5 move slots, this would be an insane Loomian, but it doesn't, which is kind of sad. Gamma Pulse is really good. Psycho Blast, Muck Blast, it'll hit all your counters. Yeah, it's good. Definitely good. Got Gamma Pulse. I'm actually going to put it above Florant, but yeah, pretty good. Next one, I'm going to go Wiki. Wiki is interesting. Burn Up Wiki. It's the thing I've got. If this thing got Wish and Seismic Toss, Chansey, Blissey. We got him. It'd be really fun. It needs more moves at its disposal. It needs to be able to get Seismic Toss and Wish, which would be really, really fun. Wish passing would be great. This thing is really, it's as bulky as Cephalops. In the health perspective, doesn't do as much damage at all. But yeah, it's bulky and fun. All right, now for electric types. Okay, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about this. Gastroke. Interesting. Not good, because it is way too frail on the melee side. It dies to Peck and Sting Gobademic. It's crazy. But with the fact that not Mawamerk, but Gastroke is so frail on the melee side, but it's good on the range side. But since most range attacks like Ice, Fire, and Toxic can hit it super effectively, like Ferroblast hits it effectively, it's not very good because most of the offensive typings attack it and hit it effectively. Dark Search hits it. It's not very good. Not very good at all. It did get Return to Sender, but eh. Best electric type I'm going to put as Metatoad. Metatoad Psycho Slap is ridiculously strong. It's overpowered. Should be banned. Should be nerfed. I hate it. I hate the Toad. Everyone knows I hate the Toad with a burning... Do I forget anybody? No. I hate the Toad with a burning passion. Alright. And the next one, I'm going to do... Oof. That might be controversial. Eliguana. Now, Eliguana, since it got Rejuvenate, and it's actually gonna get, I think it's getting huge power at some point, which should be really, really fun, because then you can use a mix. You can use huge power, Earthquake, Thunderstrike to break Venavent, Magnify, and then you could use Rejuvenate, which Thunderstrike, Earthquake, you are walled by actually you're not walled. You actually are walled by plant types. Like practically all these guys will be able to kill it, except for you. But yeah, pretty decent. Zulong is not bad at all. It's not bad, but it's the worst electric type in general. Just because Eleguana got Rejuvenate, now it has Longevity. Zulong is the worst electric type. It would definitely be above Eleguana, but since Eleguana got Rejuvenate, it is gonna sit there. I'm almost done. I'm freaking out, and I don't know what to say, because, like, I don't even know. Like, I kind of lost my thought process halfway through this list. Okay. But with Ancient Roar, Energy Orb is pretty good, because then it's basically like Parting Shot, but constant, which is pretty scary, because it's quick too, very smart. I've never seen a very smart Zulong. I've seen so many people say that very smart Zulong is being used over very nimble. That is a false fact. I have fought so many players, and I've never seen one very smart Zulong. Maybe the occasional smart Zulong, but no, I always see very nimble. It's ridiculous. Next one, I'm going to put Borok. Borok is probably the most reliable Veno Vent Breaker in the game. You swap this in on Veno, and on something that's not Barter. You swap it on Adaptive Assault. You could use Dust with this thing if you wanted to. Brawny Clever, so you don't die to too many adaptives. Suddenly, you got a Destroyer of Veno Vent. Very Brawny Earthquake with Earth Essence is practically the only thing that can take them both down. Because Earthquake, 3-hit KO, 3-hit KO's Ventation. And yeah, it's pretty good. Definitely the best Earth type in the Earth type section. Next one is Setamars. Setamars is not bad. It's just better or worse. It's just worse than Borok. Rejuvenate, Sharpen, Blaze Chomp, Earthquake. You are walled by a Flying Pixie, but with a Harp. Thunder Chomp, however, you're not walled, but then you're walled. Actually, isn't Thunder Chomp just better? I don't get why people use Blaze over Thunder. Can someone let me know? I'd love to know why. Maybe to hit plants. Although a lot of plant types aren't being used right now, except Nevermare, which even then, I don't think it would stay in versus a plant type. It'd take too much damage. Anyway, yeah, I think that is it. That is my list for all of the... Wait, I gotta get it perfect. All of the best Loomians from each typing. Let me know if you want me to do another one of these tier lists. I'm done. My throat is in pain. I did not think this would be this long. I think a showcase would have been way easier. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.